bracing glued onto the soundboard. I'm getting ready to shape the bracing. This is a baritone ukulele, one of the larger ones, so I decided to use a traditional fan bracing that you'll typically see in a classical guitar. I thought it would work for this particular instrument. Bracing is one of the factors that determines how your instrument sounds and how you shape it. And so I'm going to go ahead and taper these to the end of the soundboard and then round off the sides of each brace. As we switch to fast motion here, I'll walk you through what I'm doing. As I'm carving on these braces, there are a lot of different factors that determine what your instrument will sound like. It depends on the tone woods that you use, the bracing material, the placement of the bracing, the size and shape of the braces. And if you look online, you'll find a lot of unique designs that are used by specific builders. And each one is creating a system that works together to create the characteristics that they want from their instrument, the tone, the volume, the sustain, through the whole range of notes that are played on instruments. Uh, brace, Bracing basically does two things. It provides support for the top and the back against the tension of the strings. It also allows the soundboard to vibrate, so sound travels through the air chamber to create the sound that you hear. In a nutshell, bracing determines how that soundboard vibrates. If you had no bracing at all, it would just flap uncontrollably and it would just sound like a real mess. If you have too much bracing or bracing is too heavy, then it won't move enough and you'll have a muddy or dull sound from the instrument. And you can see I'm using a thumb plane and chisels to work at removing material from the braces. And the I think a key part of it here is to make sure that those are sharp. That will help you get the job done efficiently. So what you want to do is remove as much of the mass from the braces as possible and still maintain stiffness of the soundboard. Uh, the physics of this is that the taller the brace is, the more stiff it is. So it's actually a function of the height of the brace rather than the width of the brace. And so and my goal there is to create more of a triangular shape. So you're removing material, you're removing some out of the mass so that you don't add a lot of weight to the instrument, yet you're maintaining the stiffness of that soundboard by removing as much material as possible. And I do that until I get a kind of a certain ring to the soundboard. And acoustics is a science in itself. There are all kinds of electronic instruments that you can use to precisely measure the sound that's coming out. And so you could, by use of instruments, you could duplicate and get essentially the same sound every single time. And I look at it as certainly part science, but also it's an art. And like I always say, the beauty is in the ear of the beholder. And I think each builder uh, looks to get more and more experience to find that signature sound and to be able to reproduce whatever they want to hear from the instrument. So a lot of it is a matter of just building more instruments, experimenting with different designs, different shapes. I guess I'll let you continue to watch here as you see the chips flying off of the bracing. continue our work on shaping the bracing. This is the back, and we'll use the same tools. I have this little plane and a couple of chisels that I'll use to shape the back braces. Then the rough shaping of the back braces here. I'll probably do a little further profiling and then get ready to glue this onto the rest of the body. Because this is a two-sided back, it's a book match back. I'm going to glue a small center strip here to reinforce it, and then we'll be gluing the body together. I finished shaping the braces on the soundboard. I might do a little more fine tuning on them and do some more sanding, a little bit more sanding, and then I'll glue it to the body. So that will be the next step.